It's one thing to cross over the Cars 3 veteran stock cars with the next gens like they did in the XRS Mud Racing line, for example, but it's a completely different animal to cross over World Grand Prix racers from Cars 2 with the next gens, especially Jackson Storm and, of course, Cruz Ramirez that we'll be getting to probably in a month or so in the Global Racers Cup, the GRC. I am a huge fan of this line so far. I think all the paint jobs for the most part look great, and I love the fact that it unites the World Grand Prix racers with some of the next gens. I feel like a lot of people have kind of headcanoned that in their heads, kind of making up fictional storylines, and now it's kind of coming to fruition. Now, we still don't have any context to the GRC, whether it be a short, a book, or even a short excerpt on the back of the package like they used to do with the Transcontinental Race of Champions series, but hey, that just leaves more up to our imagination. And yeah, I'm excited today to review GRC Jackson Storm for you guys. This guy came out of 2024 Singles Case K. I'll leave the link for that in the description below, and Card Session pop-up where I go through all the cars in the case like I've been talking about. It's a really good case. Fellow GRC competitor Raoul CaRoule is in this case. New Cars on the Road character Barney Cones. I don't know why I was about to say Barney Storm. And then Yokoza, the Tokyo Mater character. And obviously we already reviewed Margaret Motorray, who in my opinion is a top 5 release of the year so far. I actually really like Jackson's paint job, and we got a glimpse of it in the mini racer form that I reviewed about a week and a half ago. So also I'll leave the link for that in the description, Card Session pop-up. Let's dive right on in. This case has only pretty much hit Australia so far, which is just crazy. Australia is way ahead of the rest of the world. They're already on Case L, and then some probably. They're probably going to find the last case, Case M, within the next couple weeks, which is mind-blowing. But yeah, thanks to Astro Smokey for helping me get all of these cars from Case K. But yeah, Jackson looks really good. He's got the GRC 2.0 logo. And as I've been talking about in recent videos, I have fully come around to the belief that his number is 20 and not 2. And I'll explain why probably a little later on in the video. New for 2024, I love seeing Jackson in Radiator Springs. Like, that's kind of a cool sentiment, because obviously that never happened in Cars 3. And I don't believe it would have really happened in many of the expanded universe lines like Fireball Beach. I think maybe Thomasville, it does take place in Radiator Springs. No, that's obviously Thomasville. Silly me. Yeah, and the XRS ones, who knows where they take place at. But yeah, I just want some more context for what the Global Racers Cup fully stands for. It seems like basically a World Grand Prix, just not called that, right? But on the back here, you have all the ones they've done so far. McQueen and Francesco were released as singles in Case H. McQueen and Shu were then in a 2-pack. And of course, that's only in Canada and Brazil. Then Carlo was in Case J of singles. And Raoul and Jackson, obviously, Case K here. Oh, Shu was also in Case J. Case J with Carla. Getting a little confusing. We obviously still have Miguel, Cruz Ramirez, and Matt Schnell coming for the Global Racers Cup. But I will be right back with Mr. Storm all opened up. I also want to determine if this is the best version of Jackson Storm that we've gotten as a diecast so far. He's up against some stiff competition, whether it be the NASCAR version of Jackson, which I'm not super fond of, but I really do like the Racing Red. That's probably my current favorite. And also the Steel Blue version, which is basically a metallic blue version of Jackson Storm. So we will make that determination as the video goes on. Obviously, there's a silver one as well. I'm not going to include any of the XRS or Thomasville or Fireball Beach stuff because I don't think any of those are as good as the core variations we have here. But yeah, let's dive right on in here with GRC Jackson Storm. So his expression is a little less menacing than his usual expression that is very much so burrowing the eyebrows, looking kind of rudely upon his opponents. I mean, it just looks like, I don't know, a viper. I don't know why I want to say a viper, like a snake, just looking upon his prey, ready to pounce. This expression is a lot more chill, and I feel like I don't have a Thailand version of Jackson opened up, but I feel like this expression does kind of, well, it's a lot more similar, I would say, to the Racing Red version, which of course we'll get to in a little bit as well, and obviously that's a Thailand version of Jackson. So you have the GRC logo there on the hood, and it just starts off with a black gradient, and then it fades toward the gray where the hexagonal pattern begins, and it's woven very nicely together. You have like a larger black hexagonal pattern with a smaller gray one beneath it. Looks really cool. I feel like most of the GRCs so far have only had one hexagonal pattern in their design. But yeah, very, very dark up front. Can barely see his mouth. Some nice blue accents along those headlights there. On the sides here, you have black wheels with the Lightyear text in blue with a little blue trim along the wheels as well. And I have to say, this looks really good because when you don't have to paint these wheels, they don't run into that problem that they always do where they can't spray it entirely, and so it leaves part of the wheel looking very unfinished. Let me pull up an example here. Very evident on the silver version of Jackson Storm, where part, like more of the inner wall there of the wheel, is not fully painted, so it looks very different and just incomplete from the center there. So you don't have that issue here because, well, it's just simply unpainted. So love that. I'm kind of surprised they didn't elect to make them blue to complement and stand out from the majority black paint job, but yeah, I think it actually looks pretty good that way. Petrola Ravioli Rev Rue. I don't know what that says. Ride Piston Cup champion. Cool. This is very interesting because a lot of the racers so far haven't had all of those contingency sponsors like McQueen. Well, of course, McQueen has none, which is just unrealistic. McQueen's just out there, no money. Carlo Veloso has Rev, Ride, and Ravioli and Petrola. Shoot to the Roki has those exact four. I'm pretty sure Francesco has just, Ride and Ravioli here. So Jackson has all of them, and then he has that new one in Rev Rue or Revenue or whatever that one says there in the middle. So interesting stuff. He obviously also has the Piston Cup champion decal from the one he won during Cars 3, and he still has a Niter Liquid Adrenaline decals, which is pretty interesting, I would say, considering the fact that McQueen had nothing, no reference at all to Rust-eze on his paint job, and it's one of the very, very few. I mean, he does have it right there, I guess. So he does have contingency sponsors, but they're all Radiator Springs businesses plus Rust-eze, and this is the unsymmetrical design, so that's why he doesn't have them on this side. But yeah, very interesting there, because Igniter is shown a lot more prominently than Rust-eze is on McQueen. So there's some interesting things to kind of think about. You do have the exhaust pipes there that are indented. GRC within the Storm logo looks awesome. I love that it's light blue, and then you have the dark blue behind it contrasting. Really great design. This probably is a top 2 variant. I'm not sure if it'll be better than the Racing Red version, but this is really nice. This is a great paint job. I love the kind of deep sea blue you have going on in the back here. Whoa, that's awesome. I wasn't expecting the back to look quite like that. Global Racers Cup, all spelled out, and then you have 2.0 in the bottom right. Now, so the reason why I've come all the way to the conclusion, his number, even though it's aesthetically presented as 2 because of the 0.0, it is 20. There's evidence of such in Cars 3 on the kind of number tower, the leaderboard thing, where it's simplifying all of the numbers. So it just says 20. It doesn't show like his aesthetic logo. And also, yeah, the dot is literally just put in there after the fact to make it known like he is a next gen. Like he is just emphasizing the fact that he's better than everyone else by adding the dot in there. But his number is 20. It's just altering it to kind of like just playing around with the graphics a little bit. I mean, we see examples of it all the time. It just doesn't necessarily, it's not as on the nose as Jackson did here, but but that's kind of the point of it, you know, to be so blatant and be so kind of, I'm better than you. I'm going to make that known by making my number look like 2.0. And that's just what we use for like everything in pop culture or just society. Like, oh, the lawnmower 2.0, whatever it may be. It's always like the next gen, the next model that is meant to be better than the predecessor. But yeah, anyways, enough of that tangent. You have a beautiful blue wing here with the GRC logo. He does still have a plastic window there in the back. Actually, yeah, maybe that is die-cast metal. I can't really tell. I really can't tell. It probably is die-cast, yeah, but it looks a little bit different. But yeah, I am a huge fan of Jackson Storm here. Usually when he's included in Expand Universe series, I'm not a big fan. Like, I don't like his Thomasville design all that much. Obviously, some of the XRS ones are kind of lame, but this one looks great. I think it's better than Shoot to the Roki. Maybe better than Francesco as well. I don't know. I thought Francesco was going to be way better than he was, and he didn't end up being that way. But yeah, Jackson just looks great. I love how the colors all come together. The black and the dark blue in the back really complement each other. And he looks pretty good with the GRC trophy here as well. So yeah, I would say the Mini Racer is a lot lighter color. Like, it gets to the light gray a lot sooner, I would say, as you can see here up in the front of the hood, whereas this stays completely lights out, pitch black for a lot longer if you're thinking about moving across to the car. But yeah, say the the Mini Racer did a good job of depicting what the full design would be like. And it is interesting that some of these Mini Racers came out before the 155 scale diecast, but it's not horribly unusual. The Mini Racer looks a lot happier. He seems to be smiling, at least maybe in like a cocky, conceited way, but he does look a little happier than the full scale version. I don't love the NASCAR version of Jackson Storm, so yeah, automatically the GRC version is way better. I do like the silver wheels, but it's very plain to me, so I'm not a huge fan. I do like the colored Piston Cup Champion logo back here that they have on either side as well. They whited it out here. Wouldn't have minded if they kept that in gold. But yeah, moving on. This is still my favorite for me just because red's my favorite color. And it's literally like a metallic red Jackson Storm. Absolutely gorgeous. He does have that wheel paint problem, but the S logo is so incredible. It's textured. You could run your finger across it. It literally feels like a kind of industrial silver floor, and it looks like one with how it's glowing and just glimmering in the light. Just beautiful. I love the black wing as well. Just a beautiful paint job, even though no decals necessarily were changed from regular Jackson Storm. But yeah, I wouldn't have included it in the Racing Red line that year, but they did, and they did a pretty good job with it. I like the silver one as well. It's very clean. But again, I'm not a huge fan of the black, though, in the back. I feel like that should have also turned silver. But it does seem like they kind of stick. They like view them as separate pieces. Hence why the GRC one got black and gray up here, and then the dark blue in the back. This one got silver and then black. And yeah, same thing with the steel blue. Very weird release. Like, I never opened one. That's why I only have these prototyped ones, the stamped ones loose. I have never opened a steel blue Jackson Storm. I don't think I've ever like officially reviewed it on my channel either. But yeah, again, you have the black in the back, which I'm not a huge fan of. Like, it just looks incomplete almost. It looks more like a prototype than it's, you know, meant to be. It just looks unfinished. So yeah, I like GRC Jackson Storm. Great job, Mattel. The decals are pretty clear. Expression's pretty solid. I just wish my camera would focus on it a little bit better. But yeah, guys, let me know in the comment section below. Who is your favorite GRC racer? I'm going to be asking this a lot as we go through. I mean, like, what the hell? Who would have ever imagined the union of World Grand Prix racers and next gens? Seeing Francesco Bernoulli and Jackson Storm together like this is pretty awesome. You throw in Carlo Veloso as well. This is why a short would be so cool. to see them like interact and actually talk to each other, like two of the racing rivals from the Cars movies. And we do kind of see like Chick Hicks and Jackson Storm a little bit, but to see Francesco thrown into the mix as well would be awesome. But yeah, guys, let me know what you think in the comment section below, and I will see you guys soon for another video. We'll obviously be adding Raoul to the collection here soon. Bye now. I guess it probably would have made some sense to compare him at least a little bit to the regular version of Jackson as well. So that's what we're going to do right now before closing out the video. This is actually the rubber tire scavenger hunt version of Jackson Storm that I have on display that I pulled out for this video. But you can see the difference in expression. The GRC replaced the igniter logo on the hood. So yeah, it just goes to show that igniter is still more prominently shown than Rust-eze is on Lightning McQueen. Obviously, the rookie racing stripes are gone, which is great. They don't do that on some of the Expand Universe stuff, but at least they did here and on the NASCAR stuff. But yeah, I mean, I would not be upset if they like drastically changed Jackson's design. Maybe made blue. Like, see, this is why a short would be so awesome. Like, if they just made, like, blue his primary color instead of black, and then maybe softened him a little bit. Maybe he's a little more humble now. Like, his character's evolving, and so instead of the black being all mean and dark, now he's a little bit more joyful, like a dark blue, like this darker blue here in the back. As his main color would be great, because there's only so much you could do with the black, and that's why I think McQueen is so great in this series, because with the red, I mean, the blue, white, and black look so great, and you're able to kind of, you know, play with the colors a little bit more than when you're just stricken down by the dark, gray, black, dismal colors of Jackson Storm.